Hey there, Patty Dominguez here with episode 138 of the Positioning to Profit podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for lending me your time and attention. Today, I have a special guest, Kim Caruk, and she's a member of Prolific Cafe. She has been a member for a couple years now. And what's so beautiful about what she has created, I always encourage the women in my community to make their business their own. Right? Whatever that looks like for you, there is no one size fits all. There is no one strategy that is going to make you a millionaire. It really all depends on what suits you the most. And she's such a great testament for that. She's an action taker. She has really evolved over these past 2 years. And I really want to share her story with you because it's been quite impactful to see how she's evolved over this time. Imagine being a single parent and being the primary provider for your family. And then being in this situation amongst all the complexities of life. Add to that, she's from Australia and the pandemic has been particularly strict with a lot of the restrictions that she's had to deal with. And she comes along and says, okay, well, I want to build a business on my own. I want to dive into entrepreneurship. Can you even imagine? Most people would say, you're crazy, you can't do it, it's not going to work, whatever the reasons and the excuses are. But Kim made it happen. And what's been so powerful is that she's tripled her income in just a short amount of time. So her story is a good one. Stick around for 3 keys to let go of self-doubt. And with that, let's get on with the show. Here we go. Let's go. Hey there, I'm Patty Dominguez. You're about to discover what it means to position your brand and your business to stand out. This show explores the stories of small business owners just like you who are bringing their message out to the world and impacting their tribe. So if you want to take your business to a category of one status, then hang with me because this podcast shares everything you need to know about how to be more prolific with your brand so that you can have more profits. All right. Welcome, Kim, to the Positioning to Profit podcast. I am so happy to have you here. Again, did we do an episode before?
No, this is the first time.
Okay, I thought because every now and then we talk and we catch up and I always feel like it's so fruitful. So I'm really happy. And I don't know why you haven't been on the podcast before, but I'm glad you're on now, which is
I'm glad I'm here.
I know, I really am. Okay, so for the audience, introduce yourself, please. Just your elevator pitch with what you want people to know about you.
Ooh, my elevator pitch. So my name is Kim and I help women to break free from sugar cravings so that they can live an energetic life. And how I do that, I really take a holistic approach and, look at more than just what's on their plate. So, looking at, their environment, their relationships, all of that sort of stuff, because as you know, if you're not in a great mindset or in a great environment, you tend to go and, nibble on foods that we probably shouldn't. So by looking at health in a holistic way, it really helps them or helps women to really improve their health and their lifestyle. So that's my elevator pitch.
Beautiful. And it always hasn't been that way. And that's really where we're headed to in this podcast, because the key here is the amazing evolution, transformation, just groundbreaking shifts that you've had. And so the title of this podcast is 3 Keys to Let Go of Self-Doubt. And who couldn't use more of that, right? Everyone experiences self-doubt. And so this is for you if you are in the midst of whether it's building a business or focusing on your health goals or whatever the thoughts may be here. But self-doubt, I know, is something that it rears its ugly head in the most unexpected of ways. I know it's been a big dream killer for me personally, where I'm like, I'll get to it later. I'm not going to focus on my dreams, right? We really sabotage ourselves. And it's because of self-doubt. And I, for one, am very, very, very happy for you because since the pandemic, you were in a different place in 2020. And for so many people, so much has shifted. But for you, it was in a really interesting, positive way, even though you were dealing with a lot of external, over in Australia, a lot of tension, right? With the lockdowns and how strict they were and all those things. But in that period, right, you literally left your safe job, right? And then tripled your income. And in that process, have come out of the other side with a new career, a new direction. And so you really speak from a place of knowing of what it means to let go of self-doubt. And I would love for you to take us through that journey of where you started back in 2020. Like, where were you then?
So 2020, like you said, the world really shifted and changed. And here in, Australia, in Melbourne in particular, there was so many things going on. And like you said, restrictions and lockdowns and things that you would never even dreamt of, and the instability around work really, really hit me then, because I was unable to work. And I was like, what am I going to do? I need to be able to do something here. And that was a turning point for me to sort of step out and look at life in a different manner, perhaps. And that was really the first time that I started getting into personal development, and was the first time that I had heard about, stories and beliefs, and the fact that we could change those stories and beliefs, that we didn't have to just keep running the same programs all the time over and over and living the life that we've always lived, that if we wanted something more, that we could actually achieve that by changing on the inside. And so by doing the work through, a program, a 14-week program that I did, it really opened my eyes to the shifts that we could make. And so by doing that inner work, my confidence started to grow, my belief in myself started to grow. And with that, opportunities started coming my way that I would never, ever thought was possible. And although I didn't really believe that I could do these things, I kind of just went, well, do you know what? If the opportunity is there, I'm just going to say yes, and then I'll just figure it out as I go. And it was incredible just to start to see those shifts that, that I could do these things. And, one thing rolled into another. And yeah, the difference between 2020 and now is just incredible, purely by doing that inner work and shifting those stories and those beliefs.
Well, and I also want to point out that in your situation is, I would even say, more precarious because you're a single mom,
Correct.
Right? So there's that whole other layer of, I know I would be in a space. I know when I quit my job as a primary breadwinner, and I was like, am I being irresponsible? Am I being selfish? Could I really do this? Mm-hmm. Who am I to do this, right? In the sense of like when I wanted to leave my job to become an entrepreneur. So I have to believe where you have your children that are depending on you, there's even that whole layer of like, I got to make this work if I'm going to do this, right? And then you start really questioning, because the perception of safety keeps you in that locked in space. So I would love for you to share, before we hit the go light button, you talked so eloquently of like these three things that were really pivotal in helping you to let go of that self-doubt. So just like imagine you're in the middle of the lockdown, all the tension going on in your environment, you're a single mom, children depending on you, you have to put food on the table, and the income that you were at wasn't where you are now. You've tripled your income, but the thought process of where you were then, I can't imagine that you were seeing that as a possibility. So how did you overcome that self-doubt? Because that is like layer upon layer upon layer of self-doubts.
Oh, there was a ton of self-doubt, and there was a ton of, I can't do this, and the pressure from not being able to work and building up debt over that time, because, it wasn't working, but I still, like you said, I had to put food on the table, still had to meet the bills. So my debt was increasing, but I had these opportunities. So I had a food blogger reach out to me to ask me to do recipe development and food photography for her. And that was at the start of 2021. She reached out. And so I was working with her while still doing little bits of work that I could do. And so last year, July, I just thought, you know what? I have the proof that this is working. I had called a meeting with her, and I had asked her, where do I fit? Where do I fit in your business? How can I make this work better for you? So I could have just sat back and went, oh, I'm just going to have to live the life that I am. But I found the proof in the fact that she wanted to continue working with me. So that self-doubt started to minimalize because I'd found that she was really happy with my work, that she wanted to continue working with me. She wanted to sign a 12-month contract with me. Mm-hmm. And that in itself really lifted my confidence because I was like, wow, okay, this is amazing. She does want to work with me. So that started to reduce that doubting of myself. And it really made me realize that, that I could do this, that it is a possibility, by having that proof there showing me that it is possible.
Okay. So number one, you have to find proof. And so Kim just gave a really great example of like, other people call it like a convincer strategy, right? These are examples of things that convince you that you're on the right path, that you can do the thing, right? It's the proof point that you're looking for. And so I think that's such a great example. So have a keen eye and recognize and be in gratitude for those situations where you're like, wait a minute, people do want what I have to offer. People do honor my work and it is valuable to people. So, okay, so that's the first one, finding the proof. That's really awesome. Okay, how about key number 2? What did you find was helpful to let go of self-doubt?
The biggest one was working on my stories and belief. So as I said, doing the personal development work really was an eye-opener to being able to change and create what I really wanted to do.
All right, we are about halfway through with the show, and I wanted to stop by with a question for you. Do you consider yourself smart, driven, and in control of your life, but for some reason growing your business is this strange exception? Or maybe you are able to start projects, but then quickly go into procrastination mode because you're not quite sure if you got it all right, or finding yourself avoiding figuring things out because you're not sure if you really have what it takes to grow your business. Think about it. All this self-doubt, imagine what it's costing you. And some part of you thinks, am I able to do this entrepreneur thing? Listen, sis, I get it. I really do. More than you can imagine. So what I know now is that after doing this for over 9 years, working on your internal repositioning, so to speak, is how you get past this. It's working with your higher self, tapping into more of that superpower, really owning it. So I put together this 21-day challenge. It's called the Meet My Higher Self 21-day challenge so that you can discover what I call the triad of her success. It's the 3 key areas that you absolutely have to have in alignment in order to create the success that you desire and deserve. So the challenge is designed for super busy people in mind. The structure is easy, bite-sized action steps, audios, everything that you need for 21 days so that you can finally release this feeling of overwhelmed, or maybe it's a stress or the procrastination or just mind yourself in general. So go to meetmyhigherself.com to find out more. 21 days, discovering the tools to have you let go of all the junk that's keeping you stuck. It's possible. Just go to meetmyhigherself.com. And with that, let's get on with the show.
So having done that work and starting to change on the inside, I started seeing things changing on the outside. So that was a huge one for me, was changing, rewriting those stories, rewriting those beliefs, and really starting to believe in myself by letting go of all the rubbish that I'd held on to for so long.
Yeah. And if you were to, as someone who's listening to this, say, okay, Kim, that's cool to let go. How do you do that, Kim? How do you do that? What would be a suggestion you have for them?
Journaling is really good. So whenever I felt, whether I was stuck, whether I found something overwhelming or challenging, I would sit and I would journal and I'd write it out, and I'd ask myself different questions, and I'd really be able to dig deeper down to find out what was driving these behaviors or these thoughts or these feelings, and be able to then work through that, and asking myself, once I got down to that little bit of a point, but is that really true? because 9 times out of 10, it's not actually really true. It's just something that we're telling ourselves. And so being able to say, well, is it really true that I'm not good enough? Like, is it really? Because, you know, like you said, I'm a single mum. I've raised my family. I'm still feeding them. You know, I've got this food blogger that wants to work with me and doing really well. I've had all these opportunities coming my way. Is it really true that I'm not good enough? And of course, the answer is no. It's not. That's not true. I am good enough. And be able to dig down really deep and ask those questions is just so powerful.
That's brilliant. I love it. Okay. So number 2, don't forget, like, to let go of those stories, do the inner work, to let go of that self-doubt. And then what would be your key number 3?
Number 3 is trust yourself and just take that leap of faith. And, you know, over my journey, since I've started all of this, things have come my way and I've just said, yes, I'm going to do it. You know, I'm going to take that leap of faith. I'm going to do it and I'll figure it out. And I just believe that this is going to work. So, you know, like you said, I'd left my secure job of 9 years and I could have stayed in that security. But I mean, with the world how it is at the moment, is anything really secure?
Right.
You know what I mean? So by taking that leap of faith and just stepping out on my own has just completely changed everything. It's changed my entire world. So 100% taking that leap of faith and just believing it's going to work.
That's brilliant. So what is life like now since you found the proof, focused on the inner work and took that leap of faith?
Do you know what? I feel so much more freedom, not only in like my work hours, but freedom in myself. I don't feel so heavy or restricted or, you know, I'm not so doubting of myself. I know I feel more powerful. I feel more confident. I feel like I can show up better and I can really share what I have more confidently and know that I can. And although things are shifting and evolving still, I'm still able to make an impact in people's lives and help them change their lives, because many of the women that I have worked with are back to where I was initially, and I kind of know the journey that they're on at the moment. And having gone through all of that, I'm able to really assist them and get them to where they want to be. So, yeah, everything's so super different.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the business that you have. Like how can people connect with you? I think the topic is so important. So the sugar-free lifestyle. As a matter of fact, literally before the podcast, I was talking to my son. He's like, Mom, I really want ice cream. And I'm like, you have a sugar addiction. You need to stop. You know what I mean? And then he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, apparently sugar is more addictive than cocaine. I don't know if that's just so it is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're nodding your head. And I'm just like, stop. Like, and it is. And it's so interesting because over the weekend on Saturday, there's a place here in Chicago. It's called Crumbles. In Crumbles, they have these big cookies, right? These big cookies, and you could get snickerdoodle and Oreo type and lemon, whatever. And so we got this pack because he wanted to try.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big sugar eater, to be honest with you. So I mean, the cookies are huge, but I had some. Anyway, I did a fast on Monday and Tuesday, and I had the worst headache. And I could just sense, I'm like, my body is detoxing this sugar. It's insane. So my point in saying all this is what you have to offer is so very needed. So how is what you're doing kind of having a new conversation around the importance of having a sugar-free lifestyle?
Like you said, it is so addictive, and there's so much sugar in so many products out there that, you know, I had a chat with my mum, and I'm like, you know, the amount of sugar that you're eating, Mum, you know, you need to possibly look at some different foods. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I don't eat sugar. What are you talking about? Because she's not adding sugar into, let's say, her coffee or her tea or whatever it is. But it's in every product out there. And like you said, your body was reacting to that withdrawal symptoms of cutting out that sugar when you were fasting. And so people just I don't think they realize how much sugar is in their diet and how it's negatively impacting us. And I know when I was eating, sugary foods and things like that, my inflammation in my body was, I had so much pain. I had that brain fog, and I just felt really, really lacking in energy. And so by helping women understand what foods do contain so much sugars and, helping them to understand different options, they then really start to feel that energy come back and that clarity and, that vibrancy again, rather than and like you said, the sugar cravings, people are driven by sugar cravings constantly. And by having that freedom to be able to eat when they want to eat and not being driven by those cravings is just, it's amazing.
It's a game changer for sure. That's really exciting. So tell us a little bit about how we can connect with you for those that are interested in a sugar-free lifestyle.
Yeah, so you can jump on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Kim Caruk. That's about it. I have changed my name and everything. So like on my handles. So Kim Caruk, I'm on Instagram and also on Facebook. The show emails and things like that on there to contact me. I also am doing, a free 30-minute breakthrough call if anybody wants to reach out, and we can have a chat and see how I can help them perhaps work through some challenges that they're having with sugar and things like that. So
most definitely. So we'll include all your links. So Kim is graciously offering that 30-minute connection call so you can just strategize around how to incorporate that sugar-free lifestyle. All right. So before we depart, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. They're just random. So go with your gut and answer whatever innately is in you to answer. So number 1, what is your idea of perfect happiness?
Sitting on a beach somewhere nice and tropical, just enjoying the sun. With my kids, of course. Got to have the kids there.
I love it. Number 2, what is your greatest extravagance?
Greatest extravagance. Do you know what? This might be really boring, but I love a coffee. And, when you get a takeaway coffee, it just tastes so much different. Like, it's just so different.
Why is that? Why does it taste different?
I don't know. So I would say a takeaway coffee. And I know that's pretty boring because, I should be buying like expensive handbags or something. But coffee to me, I love it. Good
cup of coffee becomes an experience.
Right?
It totally does. Like I went to this place where there's this coffee and it had like lavender in it. I don't know. It sounded weird. And the woman was telling me, she's like, trust me, it's amazing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. And it was like religious. I was like, oh, this is amazing. It was so good. And it is. It's like it became an experience. I'm like, I just paid $8 for this coffee, and it's unbelievable. So worth
$8.
Yeah.
Well, lucky there's none of those around because otherwise I would.
You'd be in trouble.
I'd be in big trouble.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Ooh, one thing about myself, I would like to be a better dancer. I can't dance. I mean, I could if I really tried to.
But we had that whole conversation about TikTok. I'm like, Kim, you got to get on TikTok. Kim's like, I don't want to be dancing. Oh my God.
I tried. Do you know what? At the beginning of 2020, when we just gone into lockdown, going a little bit crazy because we're all at home together, the kids tried to teach me a TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Oh my God, hilarious. Okay. What would you consider your greatest achievement?
Definitely turning my life around, changing where I'm at, changing my mindset, I've just changed like everything. My whole world's changed. So
I love that. I'm so happy for you. Okay. And then the last question is, after all is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
Ooh. My legacy. Honestly, I just want to be a really good role model for my kids. I want to show them what's possible and that they don't have to fit into that box. They don't have to be that what's deemed as normal, that they can step out of that and they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. So that's that's what I want to show through my experiences in my life and my choices that they can do that too. So
that's a beautiful legacy. Well, Kim Caruk, thank you so much for being on the Positioning to Profit podcast. It is such an honor to see you grow and thrive, and all the things that are happening for you. It's absolutely inspiring. And I hope everyone took away that inspiration on the 3 keys to let go of self-doubt. It is absolutely possible. And Kim's such a great example of that. So thank you for being a great example of that.
And thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey there, thanks for checking out this episode of Positioning to Profit. Please leave a review if you have gained a benefit from this episode. I appreciate it greatly, and I will give you a shout out on the show as well. I so appreciate the ratings and reviews. Okay, also for the positioning extravaganza, head over to positioningtoprofit.com. There's lots of goodies over there. It's a treasure chest of freebies, as well as beautiful courses that will help you to establish your category of one and move your brand forward. And again, connect with me over on socials or on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on the socials. So I hope to connect with you there. And I look forward to catching up with you real soon.